believe it happens in protection of the wound itself. You become in denial of it almost. You disconnect from your feelings, your voice, your essence, because for one reason or another, you learn that it was a bad idea to be you. Disconnection is one of the many terrible consequences of a traumatic childhood, and one that isn't spoken about nearly enough. So I wanted to dive right into the experience and describe it as it is. When you're able to articulate a painful experience, you demystify it. You remove the confusion surrounding it, and confusion plays a huge role in the pain itself. So when you're able to put words to it and give it a name, you feel awakened. You're no longer befogged with uncertainty. You're able to identify it amidst a convoluted narrative. Well, yeah, because when you're traumatized, especially when it's a result of an abusive childhood, you can't help but question yourself. You question your sanity, you question who you are, you question what you feel, whether you have the right to feel the way you do, because you've been groomed to doubt yourself. So when you hear your experience being described by someone else, you feel very reassured. And that reassurance gives you, well, it empowers you. It's empowering because it gives you the right to feel into yourself and the confidence to acknowledge your experience as a real thing, not as an elusive, biased, post-traumatic distortion of reality because you're messed up and because you see the world through a dark lens. No, it's because your experience is real and one to be reckoned with. I hope so. Disconnecting from yourself is not an easy challenge to overcome, though. It might take years. You weren't able to figure out who you were then, let alone who you are now. And who you are now has a lot to do with who you were then. You were too busy being in survival mode, defending yourself and disassociating and coping, for you to pay attention to something as fruity-tooty as, who am I? You had bigger battles to fight. But when someone else, in this case myself, is validating your experience, speaking for you, acknowledging you, and fighting your battle, I'm effectively saying, I see you. And just being seen by one other person is all it takes to make you visible and not alone. Well, the primary reason for me creating is myself. Otherwise, I'd choke on my own introversions. I'd become crazier than I already am. I'd love to say I was this noble Good Samaritan who was doing this for the greater good of the world. I'm not there yet. I suspect many creatives would say the same thing, though. We don't create to save the world. We create to save ourselves. But in doing so, we may save a few others.